People are moving out of the state by the hundreds, and they all have pretty good reasons. Over the last, I don't know, several months, I've talked to some people who I helped move into the Tampa Bay area 2 or 3 years ago who have, over the last, I don't know, 10, 12 months, asked me to sell their home. They want out now. I'm thinking that if you're planning on moving to Florida, the Tampa Bay in particular, you're going to want to stick around and watch this video and listen to why people are packing up and moving out of the Sunshine State. For those who are new to me or new to my channel, my name is Mike Lavoie. I'm a realtor here in the Tampa Bay area with Dalton Wade Real Estate. My team and I help people all the time, almost every day of the week, move into the Bay Area. And if you are interested or thinking about moving to the Bay Area, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. My number's down on the screen below. It's down in the text comments. Send me a text, send me an email, send me a carrier pigeon. Whichever way you want to choose to contact me, I will get back to you as soon as I can. So if you've been listening to any of my fellow YouTubers out there on the internet, they are all talking about how people are heading out of Florida. And to a point, they're correct. But the state is not getting ready to cave in. Of the 25 or 30 people I've talked to about this, it boils down to basically 4 major reasons and a couple of minor off-the-wall reasons. I'm going to cover the major reasons now because they are major. If you've lived in the Tampa Bay area for any length of time, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Of the 4 major reasons to leave Florida, 3 of the 4 are related to the growth. When we moved here in Tampa in 1987, Tampa was a lot smaller, a lot fewer people. Our first home right in the center of Carrollwood on a cul-de-sac with a pool and 4 bedrooms cost us about $178,000. It took maybe, 15 minutes to get from Carrollwood to downtown Tampa, pretty much any time of the day. The cost of living was close to 8% below the national average. So here we are, 37 years later, and things have definitely changed, especially over the last, 4 or 5 years. With the start of COVID, people were willing to pick up stakes from just about anywhere around the country and move to Florida, mostly to get out of the politics and the COVID restrictions of whatever state they were coming from. I had people from states like New York and Michigan, California, and a dozen other states that were buying houses in Tampa, in Florida, sight unseen. There were a lot of companies, especially up in New York City, that were allowing their employees to work remotely. A lot of them took a look at where they were sitting and said, maybe I could move someplace else. So they figured out that they could work remotely in the snow and wear a mask, not be able to go outside or do anything else, or they could move to Florida, where they could work remotely in a beautiful setting with no snow and get out and do something afterwards, rather than be locked up in their house or their office for 24/7. Restaurants were still open. Grocery stores were open, and you could go buy groceries any day of the week. They could go see a movie. You could go outside, not wear a mask, which, by the way, after the fact, wound up being proved worthless to wear. The downside of all those people moving to Florida, was all those people. In the 2 years of 2020 and 2021, the population grew something like 350,000 people in the state. Most of those went to 3 or 4 areas around the state: Miami and the Southeast Florida, Naples and Sarasota, and the Tampa Bay area. None of those metropolitan areas were prepared for that many people in that short a period of time. Infrastructure then sucked, and it hasn't gotten much, if any, better. Traffic is an issue. A lot of those moved to Tampa from New York City came here with a lot of cash. They had sold their 900 square foot condo in the city for $4 million and headed south. Living in the city, like New York City, they were quite accustomed to being in a downtown or urban area. The most logical place for them to move and retain that lifestyle would be in downtown Tampa or South Tampa. Prices for homes in that area, let's just say exploded. Yeah, that's a pretty good word. If you're looking for a home in the 400s, you had to look out in the suburbs, north and off to the southeast of the city. The problem that is that really you still have the office in downtown Tampa. Tampa, just like any major metropolitan area, has traffic issues. As communities have spread out from Tampa, drive times to downtown or the airport have increased. From pretty much any suburban area, you're looking at 30 to 45 minutes during rush hour to get downtown. So if you've lived here for any length of time, that increase in drive time is ridiculous. If you moved here from New York City or Los Angeles, a 30, 45 minute drive to downtown area is probably a dream. On the other hand, if you moved here from Marquette, Michigan, traffic is gonna drive you crazy. Around the Tampa Bay area, roads are under construction. I mean, they're probably never gonna catch up. Almost everywhere you go, a road is being worked on around the Bay Area. The biggest complaint about the roads that are under construction is that they started way too late and now they're way behind the 8 ball. What these people who are complaining obviously can't or don't want to understand is that road planning started 10 to 15 years ago, well before this massive influx of people came into town. So yeah, they are behind the 8 ball and probably will be for several more years. Another comment I hear a lot is that there is no mass transit around Tampa. That's pretty much around the whole state. That comment is exactly correct. Tampa does have a bus system and you can get around town, I'm sure. It just takes forever. I tried it once. That was enough. When you are right downtown, there are electric bikes and scooters. There is the Ybor City Tram that runs from Ybor City to downtown. I mean, it's great for tourists. As far as an effective light rail system, no, it's not here. It's been brought up several times over the years, but the residents continue to vote it down. I mean, nobody wants to pay for it. We have a lot of people who come from a state that taxes them to death. I mean, literally taxes them to death. One of the reasons they moved to Florida was lower taxes. So voting on a light rail system that's going to raise taxes is probably not likely to happen. But somebody has to pay for it. And trust me, I don't want any higher taxes. However, some things make sense. An effective light rail system from the suburbs to the major business sections around the Bay Area is one of those. I mean, it makes a whole lot more sense than some of the stupid ideas that get floated around here, like the speed train from Tampa to Orlando. I mean, who's going to use it? So if you've been thinking you could move to Florida from a large metropolitan area like New York City, not buy a car, you're gravely mistaken. If you don't have a car, you're not going to go very far or very fast. Another issue that gets talked about a lot is the price of housing. I'd have to agree, the price of housing has gone up a lot, like a lot. In days gone by, Florida was considered a very inexpensive place to buy a house. For years, housing was a lot lower than the national average in Florida, but it's been creeping up. Beginning with the pandemic, housing prices have skyrocketed. I mean, earlier I mentioned that the house that we bought in Carrollwood for about $178,000. Well, it's now worth about $450,000. That's how bad it's gotten. Apartment rentals are not much better. It used to be you could rent a 3-bedroom apartment for about $1,200 a month. That same apartment is going to close to $3,000 now a month. On a good note, I have read that there is going to be a glut of apartment complexes around the Bay Area. As usual, builders have gone stupid with building and have overbuilt. That glut of apartments available should reduce rents. More competition breeds lower prices. I wish I could say the same thing about single-family homes. The latest numbers that I've seen say there's something like 1,200 people moving into the state every day, which is up considerably from what it has been over the last couple of years. A good number of those people are probably going to want to buy a house. Other than new construction homes, we don't have much of an inventory right now. We haven't had for several years. Existing homes around Tampa, especially when you get close to the South Tampa area, are going to be very expensive. I mean, you're riding around the city, looking at homes. They may not be exactly what you're looking for. A lot of the area is very historic, what we call historic. Some people just call it old. There are homes in South Tampa that are going to be 3, 4 bedrooms, maybe 1 or 2 bathrooms. They're going to start in the low $500,000 range. A lot of them are going to be 50, 60, 70 years old. Most of them have already been updated. Some of them haven't. I mean, they look really pretty. I like them. They got the porches and everything, look very historic, but you've got to like historic houses. You also have to be ready for the higher maintenance costs involved with owning a 60-year-old home. The windows are not going to be very energy efficient, if at all. Back then, they didn't put a whole lot of insulation in the walls or the ceilings. So heating and cooling is going to be more expensive. Things like plumbing and electrical systems, they're an ongoing problem. They're going to have to be worked on over the years. What you do get with these homes closer to Tampa is proximity. Downtown Tampa is, 5 to 10 minutes away. All the things that are available downtown or West Shore or the Tampa International Airport are minutes away. You had just better prepared to pay for it. If you're looking for something more modern with a bunch of amenities in the neighborhood, that is not going to be anywhere near downtown Tampa. To get a newer built home, homes that are more energy efficient, where the plumbing is new, the air conditioning is new, all that good stuff that comes with a new house, you're going to have to go to the suburbs. Places like Wesley Chapel or Odessa have homes that have kind of features that a lot of people like. Multiple community pools, tennis courts, pickleball courts, dog parks, playgrounds for the kids. However, you had better not only be prepared for a longer drive to Tampa or the beaches, but houses are still not cheap. Not like they were, 10 years ago. The median price of a home in the Tampa Bay area is just over $420,000. And that's the median. Quite honestly, the people who are least affected by this increase are the people that are coming from major metropolitan areas. I'm thinking of maybe Atlanta or Houston, Detroit, Dallas. Any city of equal size. These people are already paying that amount for the home. They're kind of equal between the two. Those that are affected the most are the people that have been living in the Tampa Bay area for a period of years. Let's face it, wages in Florida are not what they are in Atlanta or New York City or wherever. So if you're in an industry here in Tampa making a normal wage for Florida, it is very difficult to qualify for that median price home of $420,000. Those local people have been pretty much priced out of buying a house if they haven't already bought one and held on to it for a few years. I'm also thinking of first-time home buyers. Another group of people who can't afford to do it are those who are on a fixed income. There is a large group of people who moved to Florida to retire and live in the sun during their golden years and are having a hard time buying a house. And it's not just the price of the house. You've got to include insurance and taxes, upkeep. All that stuff costs money and it's not getting any cheaper. I'm not sure about you, but for me, inflation has been an issue for the last 3 or 4 years. The cost of everything has gone up across the country. Where Florida was once thought of as a cheap place to live, well, that's not anymore. I just saw a report this morning. We are number 4th for inflation. I've already talked about the price of housing, but what about the price of everything else? At one point in time, Florida was below the national average for just about everything. That is a thing of the past. I believe that the only sector we're still lower on as the rest of the world is healthcare. As far as the cost of food, gas, electricity, just about anything else, Florida is close to or just above national averages. However, insurance rates have gone stupid. The last time I looked, we were ranked the 3rd highest in the country for insurance costs, and that's housing and car insurance. In my opinion, there are a couple of reasons for the cost of homeowners insurance going up so much. Number 1, and probably the biggest, is fraudulent roofing claims. For some reason, it's a big issue across the whole country, but Florida seems to be leading the way. Roofing contractors are going through neighborhoods that are 20 years old, like mine, canvassing the residents, telling them that for the cost of their deductible, they can get a brand new roof put on their house. Well, that's really nice, but it's going to cost. And all they have to do is file a claim, and the roofing company will take care of the rest. They're going to say that it was damaged by the wind, and the insurance company will cover it. All well and good until the insurance company jacks up the rates for everybody else because those people got a free roof and the roofing company made money. Again, it's one of those things that somebody has to pay for it. I get the comment as well that insurance companies can't afford it. Now, BS. Do you actually think they're going to lower their profits or go out of business just so you can, as some people can have a new roof for free? Putting a new roof on a house just because it's old is not what insurance is made for. That new roof is called home ownership. There is no free ride. The other reason for rising insurance rates is natural disasters. Florida is on a peninsula that sticks out with 2 large bodies of water. We have a hurricane almost every year. Most of the time, it turns out to be a lot of wind and rain. not much damage. However, once in a while, there is a lot of destruction. Recently with Ian. It pretty much wiped out several communities across the state. That also drove several companies who were writing insurance out of the state. Yeah, Florida has lost several insurance companies, but so have other states with natural disasters, like I'm thinking California with the fires and the earthquakes. Losing those insurance companies over the last few years has driven up insurance rates. It's to a point where we are now like third in the country for the most expensive homeowners insurance. On the plus side, we have had several insurance companies admitted into the state to write insurance. They can start writing insurance on homes. Theoretically, those new companies, through competition, will help lower rates, but it's going to take time. Between now and then, people are getting tired of paying the premium and are leaving the state. Another consistent complaint I hear about is real estate taxes. Along with the increase in property values, taxes have gone up. Taxes are calculated based on the percentage of the value of the home. Those taxes, hopefully, will never go down. That would mean your property values went down. The issue I have is all the oddball taxes that get attached to the properties, to my real estate property taxes, and what they're used for. I mean, let's face it, nobody that I know likes paying taxes, but everybody wants a fire department, schools, law enforcement, just to name a few of those things. So there you go. All those services require money. On top of that, the cost of all those services don't go down. Remember that inflation thing? If you're coming from a state that normally has high taxes, California, New York, Illinois, Michigan, okay, so that list could go on. You're probably accustomed to paying high taxes, so taxes here are more than likely going to be a lot less than what you were paying. I've said it before, one of the primary reasons people move to Florida, a lot of people move to Florida, is lower taxes. If you're coming here from North Dakota or Iowa, Mississippi, you're going to be shocked. Property taxes are definitely higher. A lot of people get down here, take a look at what it costs to live over the year in sunshine, decide not, and move back. The fourth major issue people have a lot of problem with is the weather. And really, I can understand it. It's freaking hot from June to October. Let's be real, it's hot in Michigan. I went to school in Ann Arbor and spent 5 summers there. Okay, so I was on the 5-year program because I played around too much the first year. But summers in Michigan were hot, but short. In Florida, at least on the peninsula, it's summer all year round, which is good, but it's almost unbearable from June to October. And you have to be in the air conditioning and plan your activities around that. A lot of people come to Florida during what we call in season, tourists. Not only do they have issues driving, but they fall in love with the 65 degrees. Done. No humidity. It's then that they decide they want to be wonderful to move to Florida and have this kind of weather all year round. And it would be wonderful to have that weather all year round. It's not reality. You have to go through, 2 summers before you can call yourself a Floridian. If you survive 2 summers, you'll be more likely to be here for years. At the end of May, the 1st of June, the humidity gets into the 70s. So it's going to be going outside in the middle of the afternoon to do anything other than get in the pool, some other water-based activity. It's just not going to happen. Another weather-related issue is people have a hard time coping with is the threat of a hurricane. Florida is a peninsula. It sticks out into the middle of the Gulf of Mexico on one side, the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. Unless you've been not watching the news for the last 40 or 50 years, we have hurricanes here. Every year, at least once every summer, a hurricane passes over Florida. Most of the time, they're nothing more than a lot of wind and some rain. However, every once in a while, like last year, we have one that causes a lot of damage. Those are the ones that make all the news. Yes, it is tragic when it happens. However, unlike a tornado in the Midwest or earthquakes in California, you can see the hurricane coming for basically weeks. Gives you plenty of time to prepare or book rooms in North Carolina. Personally, I've grown to love living in Florida. The first couple of years were difficult, no doubt about it, to get through. But sure beats the heck out of pushing snow for 6 months out of the year, scraping my windshield before I could get out and go to work, putting on coats and boots or gloves, scarves, or whatever else you could find to wrap around you to keep warm when you go outside and still freeze when you get there. Yeah, I can do without all that. Do I enjoy all the traffic? No, of course not. But I live in a city that has grown the size of a major metropolitan area. Like most cities around the country, we have similar traffic problems. Go through drive-through Atlanta or Houston, New York, Los Angeles. That's always a lot of fun. It would be nice if the tourists would come into town, would figure out where they're going and how to get there before they get in the car and start trooping down the road. It would be extremely nice if people would get off of their phones while they're driving and pay attention to what they're doing. It would be ultimate thing would be if people would be freaking slow down and be a little more courteous. Getting down the street to the local Wally World is not a competition. However, I think you're going to find those issues in almost every city around the country. Florida is not for everybody, and that's okay. What I would suggest is that you think about, if you're thinking about moving to Florida, you might want to do a little research before you head down the road. Come on a vacation, instead of doing it in season in December, come in August, spend a couple of weeks, see if you can put up with the heat for that amount of time. Drive through Orlando a couple of times. It'll give you a good idea of what traffic is around the rest of the state, at least the major cities. If after that you're still serious about moving to Florida, Tampa in particular, give me a call. We would love to talk to you about it. My contact information, like I said, is down on the screen. It's down in the text information down below in the comment section. Give me a call, send me a text, send a carrier pigeon. Let's talk. If you got anything out of the video, go ahead and click that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. We'll let you know when the next video is published. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.